Welcome, season 2 of the Unblock Yourself podcast.
Season 2, baby.
We're here. On the Unblock Yourself podcast, we have conversations either together or with people who are chasing their dreams, making good things happen in the world, and living this intentional and unblocked life. We're excited to have this conversation with each and every one of you today.
We are excited, but we're starting with a bit of a different series. Greg had this idea about doing this like book series.
Well, let's talk about that. So, you know those people in your life that say, hey, I read this great book, or they ask you questions like, hey, have you read any interesting books lately? And you think to yourself, oh God, I wish I had time to read a book, or I have a list of 20 books that I'd love to read, but I just haven't. Something that I've always loved. I do love reading books, and you love hearing me talk about the books that I've read.
I read books too.
I know you do. I know.
But I listen to more books than I read, let's be honest. Like, I love an audiobook. It's really the only time I'm able to listen to a book.
Well, I think this is just it. I think it is a bit of a pet peeve of mine too when people say, oh, I read that, but they actually just listen to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll put that aside. I wish people, this all came about because I wish people would summarize some of the best books that they've read for me, and not an abstract AI generated book summary. I mean, like, tell me what is something that's interesting that you got from that book. And I figured if I would want that from other people, maybe other people would want that from me and from us. And so what we wanted to do as part of season 2, and when I say we, I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, was a good idea.
Was have a conversation about 5 books that shaped us in 2025.
Yeah, we talk a lot about books and things that we're listening to and stuff. So thought it was a good idea. A good way to share our knowledge without people having to actually read full books we're recommending.
That's right.
Or listen to them.
So our gift for each of you who listen to this in 2026 is a list of these 5 books that that shaped us this past year. Some of which you might have already read, some of which you
maybe never
heard of, some of which are on your list. And so when you hear this, it'll be just a way for you to either say, okay, I can act like I read it because I heard all about it on this podcast, or maybe you'll be intrigued and you'll want to pick it up and buy a copy for yourself.
Yeah. This is kind of cool too, because we're starting with a book that Greg read and I have not. So Greg's going to be, as much as he's teaching everyone else all the great concepts and things that he's taken from the book, he's also going to be sharing it with me, and that's just going to save me a bunch of time from having to go read it. So this is perfect.
This is actually great. And let's be honest, I think all the books that we're going to talk about over the course of this series, I don't think you've read any of them, have you?
I can't really remember the list. I can't remember the list of 5.
Oh,
I'm sure
busted.
There's one that I've read.
All right. Well, let's just get into it. Okay. And the first book that we're going to be talking about today is a book called The Third Door by Alex Banayan.
The Third Door. Okay.
The Third Door. Okay. And it's actually the first 2 episodes in this series are going to hit the same 3 concepts. They're very unrelated books. You wouldn't expect them to be connected to each other, but 3 themes that really came through in this book for me that also come through in the second book we'll be covering this series, which is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. But we'll save that for next episode. Yeah. Okay. So this book, let me give a little bit of background.
Yeah. Tell us about it, high level.
A little bit of a background. So this is, again, it's by Alex Banayan. It may not be a familiar name to you. Alex Banayan was, or how this whole book came about.
Why did I think it was, sorry to cut you off. Why did I think it was Alex Banayan? No?
Banayan?
Banayan. Okay. Got it.
Well, I'm going to say Banayan, and if it's Banyan, we will wait for that.
We should have nailed that before jumping on to the recording, but
that's
okay. It's okay.
It's already going off the rails. But the core idea of the book that is called The Third Door is that, and I love this principle, is life always presents us with doors number 1 and number 2 that he defines. And for him, door number 1 is the metaphor that he uses is you're going to a nightclub, and door number 1 is you stand in line and wait in line like everyone else to get into the nightclub. And life is full of those sorts of things for all of us. Go to school, study hard, get a good job, buy a house, just go through the natural motions. It's a lot of just waiting in line and following what the crowd does. For him, there's also then door number 2. This is the VIP line. And the VIP to get into the nightclub or the bar This is either privilege you're born into or some glowing achievement that
the bouncer,
the rare few, or the bouncer. You've just got an inside track of some sort that gets you into that VIP line. But the whole idea of the third door is this is the one that isn't talked about very much. And it's the one that's down the back alley, kind of jump onto the dumpster, go in through the window. That's the third door. His idea is there's always a way in. There's always a third door for any sort of opportunity. And how this whole idea came about was when he was studying at university to be a doctor, he was not loving it and found himself distracted and always looking at all these different successful people and looking to figure out what is the code, cracking the code, and what makes successful people successful. And he kept getting frustrated that he couldn't find their secrets to success. There was no biography that said, and this was the thing, and that was the moment, and this was the moment. All these were just stories that success just seemed to happen to them. And he was frustrated by this. So he said, I actually want to talk to these people. And he got this crazy idea to talk to people. And these are not just abstract names. These are names like Bill Gates and Lady Gaga and like
and
these.
Sorry, he's how old?
And
he's
at this time, he's like 20 years old.
Okay.
And he thinks this is what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go talk to these people. Okay.
What he's going to do. And so he realizes, okay, if I'm going to go do this, if I'm going to go crack the code on what it is that actually makes people successful, I'm going to need some money for that. And the opening part of the story, which really hooked me in, is he actually figured out how to hack the show The Price is Right. And it was one of those magical moments. It just so happened that recording down the street from his school that week was an episode of The Price is Right.
Okay.
And he figured out that there's actually a formula that they follow on the show
like to get
guests on the show.
Okay.
And when they bring people up, like there's actually just a really
I feel like it's always like super
formula.
bubbly, energetic.
Exactly.
People like there's a.
So he figured out all of that. He ends up winning on The Price is Right. He wins like a boat, and he sells the boat. Okay. And then uses that money to fund this whole project, which is
fascinating,
super cool. So that's
he's like, so just going back, he's like, I want to know what makes people successful, and I don't have any money, but I need to interview some people, and so I'm going to go on The Price is Right and win money.
So that I have money to go and interview these people.
Got it. Okay, I'm tracking so far.
So that's what sets him on this journey.
Imagine he lost. Like this, book wouldn't exist.
The book wouldn't exist. And I think it actually sets the stage really nicely because that was his own third door moment. He hadn't come up with that idea yet though, right? So what he does is he goes out on these adventures, and over the course of the book, he's telling these different stories of the people he's interviewed. And that's actually just one of the things I loved is in the course of the book, he talks to just super interesting people. Tim Ferriss, who we both love, is one of the first people he connects with. He ends up connecting with Maya Angelou, Quincy Jones, Lady Gaga, as I mentioned. He does end up meeting Bill Gates. He tries desperately to meet Warren Buffett, but doesn't actually make it to meet Warren Buffett, which is a whole other story. But this idea that he comes to is for all of these people, how they got to and achieved the success they achieved was they were all third door things. They were all finding their way into the thing that they wanted to do. It was overcoming some obstacle or finding that door or finding that way into something that wasn't obvious, but they just persisted and found it. And that's where the whole idea came from. So everybody has the option or the opportunity to find their own third door. And that's, again, what I really like about it. It's a simple concept. It's really tangible. And the stories in the book are really interesting.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I almost want to learn more about Alex's story too, because just because you have money doesn't mean you can go meet all these people. So it's like, I'm curious, how was there a connection? And sometimes you just have to ask, like we've talked about that, where it's like, a lot of people would say yes if you just ask. It's like, oh, I'd love to learn more about this or how you did that. And sometimes it just takes that, like the person that's willing to ask and put themselves out there to get that, acceptance, I guess.
Well, this is just it. So that was one of the things that I loved about the book, which I already talked about, was the stories. They're super interesting, but tied to that, something else I loved is he gets really tactical on the email copy he used to reach out to these people and advice he got. So he gets feedback from Tim Ferriss on how to reach out to people and what to do and what not to do. And all of that is in this book. It's really useful. And I think you know this about me. I think that there's people that I want to meet that I just believe we're going to meet or connect with at some point. And it's already happened for me in many ways before.
Yeah.
And so it resonated for me that one of those big things is really just asking. And he gives that practical advice on, how to ask in a way that's going to resonate.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like there's so much noise out there now. When was this? When did he write this? Or when did he do these interviews?
See, this is why we should plan the questions. I'm flipping through the book. You can hear me flipping through the book right now.
No, it's okay.
But I think it's not that long ago, 2018. I got the published date. So I think he was probably doing this between 2015 and 2016.
Okay.
So a couple of other things. So here's something I didn't like. So just to be totally fair on this, there were a couple things that I found a bit tough. And shout out to a good friend of ours, Dave Bunce, who, when he heard that this was one of the books we were considering, he was like, really? I don't know. I tried. Usually we're pretty aligned, Boyd, but I didn't love the book. And there were some things he called out that were fair. So one of the things, he's telling these stories of how he met all these people and had these conversations. And at times it's a bit like gratuitous. It's like, okay, we're going on and on about the incredible people he's met. And he's very self-deprecating and kind of apologetic. But at the end of the day, he's making himself out to be a bit of a hero. He's got a book to sell. He's a speaker now.
Sure.
So you get a little bit of this, like, okay, like it gets a little much.
A bit of that. That's
a little bit of that.
In.
He does this other thing that I find really annoying in writing, but I also do it myself. So full transparency, I do it too. He retells this conversation on multiple occasions. So they're having it, but he quotes it, and it's this word for word transcription of a conversation, which in a book just doesn't really make sense. Like
multiple times.
Yeah, he does
shows up a couple times.
It's not the one story, but let's say I was sitting down with Maya Angelou, and he doesn't summarize the conversation. It's like the transcript of the conversation. And sometimes I'm like, were you like writing this down while you were talking, or did you just take the audio transcript and dump it into the book? Like, it just makes it sound a little too manufactured, I guess.
Sure. Okay.
So it's like they perfectly articulate his point all the time. And it's like, really? Was it always that? Anyway. Like, I would prefer if you said the essence of it was. But again, Alex, when you listen to this, as I'm sure you will, I do it too, buddy. It's not just you. I do it too. Okay.
What else did you love?
Well, so let's switch gears a little bit. Because I did mention that the next book in our series that we're going to be talking about is The Obstacle's the Way. Ryan Holiday, all-time favorite.
Yeah.
But there were 3 key ideas. So anyone listening to this is like, all right, Boyd, what'd you get from the book? These are reasons to listen or to read it, that it's entertaining, great stories, but what did I actually get out of it? So what did I actually learn? So first one.
There's 3.
There's 3.
Shocking.
Oh my gosh. Of course.
Anyone that's new here, Greg loves everything in 3s.
There's always 3s.
3 of everything. 3 points, the 3 things, the 3 things.
So theme number 1, or key idea, I guess, number 1 that I got from this book is easy is a bad signal.
Mm-hmm.
This one comes up late in the book, so I actually I'm jumping to the end, but I think it came through beautifully. He's having this conversation with Maya Angelou, and just to get really specific, it's on page 247. I'm going to see if I can flip to it and find it, because I actually underlined the quote. He's talking to Maya Angelou, which again is pretty impressive that he got a conversation with Maya Angelou.
Sweet.
And Maya Angelou is just talking to him about this idea that she's a writer, poet. That's what she's famous for. And she talks about this idea of finding your path, like whatever it might be. And she basically says, if it's hard, then you know you're on the right track. And I think so often we think, well, things should be easy or should feel easy. Like when you find your thing and you find your motion, you find your rhythm, it should feel easy. And I actually think it just resonated deeply for me when I look at just what we're doing. And like it's fun and I'm passionate about it, but I wouldn't say it's easy.
See, it's funny. I'd kind of challenge a bit that I think it's hard at first, but
it gets easier.
It gets easier, right? It does get easier.
But exactly. I think that's what she gets to that. Is like, you're on the right track when it feels hard.
Yeah.
And not hard in these like impossible ways, like you don't like it. I think it's like, I love it, but it's so hard. It's like, yeah. That's the good stuff.
Once it gets easy, is it okay to stay there? Or do you have to push into another hard thing?
Well, I think there's another quote. It's a nice little dovetail that Quincy Jones gives. And he's, again, how cool is it that he's talking to Quincy Jones? But he's talking to Quincy Jones, and this famous producer says, like, his job when he's working with artists is just to help them find themselves and, like, unlock the greatest part of themselves. And talks about this idea that, that's always evolving. And so, yeah, I do think that once it's starting to get easy, it's probably time to look for whatever the next thing is. Staying uncomfortable was a big theme.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean like forcing yourself to do things you hate. But I think it's forcing yourself to look not for what's easy, but maybe look for what's hard.
Love that.
I did like that.
Yeah,
okay,
that hits.
So that was key idea number 1. Key idea number 2. Adventure happens to the adventurous. We love this.
Love adventure. It's one of our core values.
It is one of our core values. When we were just away on our trip, the kids cutely turned to me and they said, Dad, what do you love about Whitney? Like, what is your favorite thing about Whitney? Remember that? And I said, I just love how adventurous she is. And I think
yes,
they asked
we were in
you
Costa Rica, so everything we were doing at that point was
Totally.
adventurous.
And I think you would say the same thing about me. It's this restlessness. So I think that adventure happens to the adventurous. There's a key character in the book. His name is Elliot Beesnow, and it's not a household name at all, but he becomes sort of the guide in the hero's journey of the book. He's the guide that shows up and works with and supports him and makes a lot of these connections. Like Elliot becomes this big unlock for him. But Elliot, early on, he tells this story, again, to be specific. It's back in the earlier chapters. It's around page 100 in the book. I think it's 104, where he's like, hey, do you want to go to Europe this weekend? And Alex is like, well, I don't know. And he's like, okay, like we're going to Europe this weekend. No plans, no hotel, just let's go to Europe for the weekend. And I think for most of us, that's an impossible idea or an impossible notion. It's just uncomfortable. But on that adventure, I mean, that's where their friendship really was formed. And Elliot becomes one of the most important people in Alex's life.
Cool.
And he tells him that. He just says, look, man, like if you're looking for adventure, you've got to be adventurous. And that's the name of a whole chapter in the book. And I think it's so true. I think we wait for, when something exciting going to happen to me, but I think it's the opposite. You got to do something for the adventure.
Go find adventure
to happen to you. One other thing that's tied to this, and this is specifically, again, this is actually page 104, and I think it was something that jumped to me, and it kind of underpins his ideas of what this whole third door thing is. But he talks about, Elliot talks to him about this idea of a linear versus an exponential life. And it's kind of that idea of, standing in line for door number 1 or, finding door number 3. But a linear life is, I'm going to go to school, then I'm going to get a job, then I'm going to, get married, and then I'm going to blah, 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 blah. It's just the linear life. I'll make 100K, then I'll make 150K, or I'll get this job, then I'll become a vice president, whatever.
Yeah. Comfy, easy.
An exponential life is this idea that, like, I don't know, like I'm going to do this thing and it's just going to go up, or it's going to go down, and then I'm going to start again. And I'm going to go up, and it's going to go, and I'm going to start again. And it's these steep curves of learning and growth and excitement, and then it stops and goes over. So this idea of we get to choose the linear life or the exponential life.
Do you think that, and did they talk about this? Is that like specific to your career path?
It's not. I mean, it was in the context of career a little bit, but it was just life and adventure. Yeah. It was in the spirit of that conversation. Like, do you want to, plan to go to Europe in 6 months, or do you want to go this weekend and figure it out? What's going to be a more interesting experience?
Right. And like maybe in 6 months you can't, or something
maybe
happens.
In 6 months you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
okay.
That was idea number 2. I love that one. That was adventure happens to the adventurous. Ready for idea number 3?
Number 3.
Key idea number 3. Bring it home. I loved this. And this wasn't an explicit lesson. This is just something I pulled out of it. But it was this idea, find your mission and you'll find your people. Again, similar to this idea of adventure.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come. So similar, I'm waiting for something exciting to happen, or I'm going to do exciting things and exciting things will happen. I think there's something similar where, I want to do something amazing. I got to find these interesting people in my life to do it with, or a business partner or whatever. And how Alex got connected to Elliot and all the people that I've mentioned that he ended up interviewing is he had a mission. He had a thing that he wanted to do. And the thing about people who have achieved success or doing cool things is they're not doing it for the people. They're doing it really for them. Mm-hmm. They're doing it because they want to do it. And that leads them down this exciting path and connects people that are doing interesting things. Is interesting people want to connect with other interesting people. And the best way to be interesting is like have a mission, like have a thing you want to achieve, a thing you want to do.
I like that. I think I don't love the word mission because it's,
Oh,
well, I think it can be a bit like, who really knows what their mission is? I mean, and maybe some people do. I'm sure lots of people do, but I think that makes it seem a bit like you have to just find your mission, go after your mission. But I don't think it's that. And I don't think that's the spirit of it. I think it's more like do things that you love, follow your, I don't know, heart, your gut, whatever, like, and you will find your people along the way. Like, I feel like the mission word is the one that threw me off a bit in that, but I get the spirit of it.
okay.
It's like, go after things, do interesting things, and follow, well, again, I say like your heart or your gut or whatever, but whether that's your mission or not, because I think a lot of people don't know what their mission is. Like, is my mission, I'm still unclear. I don't know what my mission is exactly. We have a mission as a company to help 1 million people be more intentional, but is that like my true mission in life? I don't know.
Actually,
I don't know.
I think that's a reasonable reaction. And I think why it resonated for me so much is when I think about people who have introduced us to other people over the course of the past year, they usually lead with, this is Greg and Whitney, or this is Vienna Waits. Their mission is to help 1 million people. Like, they just play back the mission that is just on our website. It's the thing we talk about. People go, whoa, that's cool. People who came to Waypoint Retreat, I remember them coming up and going, I actually think you're going to do this. Like, I think you're going to hit 1 million people. And I think that it's maybe not your life's purpose or your core ethos, but like, I want to go do something in the world. I'm going to just wrap it in something. I'm going to wrap it in a mission, something that people can rally behind and understand. And when people hear that and see that, and when it's true to you, I think people get behind that in a different way. So it's more like that. Yeah. I think it's more this idea, hey, you want to do something? Many people who listen to this or participate in our programming, they want to do something. It's like, okay, put a mission around it. Be bold. Put it out there. And people tend to rally around that. Totally. And that's the idea.
And that's true for us in terms of finding people.
It's definitely true for us.
Definitely made some friends through all of this process, and just people that are in our networks and orbits that weren't before.
Yeah. I think that it resonated so much because of that. Mm-hmm. Think about the people that we've met, are connected with. It's been an incredible year. And I think I look at other people who are doing work that excites them is they keep meeting people that are energizing and fueling that. And so this idea of find your mission and you'll find your people, I think is big. One thing to tie to that, which is actually on point with what we've been talking about, Elliot B is now this hero the guide who supports Alex as he's going through his journey. At one point, he's introducing him to a group of interesting people that Elliot knew, and in the conversation, Alex doesn't bring up the story of The Price is Right, and at the end of that, Elliot's like, "What the hell? Like, I can't believe you didn't tell them the story." And the advice that he gives, and again, this is just one of the many examples in the book that I just loved, is this like really raw, practical piece of advice is he says, everyone has experiences. Only a small number of people turn them into stories. And people love stories. Oh,
it's so true.
It's so true. And so Alex Banayan, like that book and the missions, it wouldn't have happened without that bit of that, like that, his own third door moment and his own big story of going on The Price is Right. Who does that?
Yeah.
And you tell that story.
Yeah.
So I think it's important in aligned to this idea of your mission. You got to tell your story. Why are you doing it? Mm-hmm. What's behind it? Totally. And that's a big part of it.
I love that.
So that's it. That's why I love the book. That's why it really helped to inform some of our work last year. And I think it'll continue to.
I love that. I feel like I don't have to read the book now, which I'm grateful for.
This isn't the idea. But what I love when we kind of wrap up this part of the series is like, I want to hear, what are your third door moments, Whitney?
Mine? Yeah. Oh, well, okay. This is, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I put you on the spot with that one. Does anything
but I will say the waiting in lines at nightclub analogy resonated. I could relate to that. I waited in many lines. Also got into some VIP doors, but I never considered going on a dumpster and going
Jumping in the back.
other door.
This
you
is-
know,
Not many people do.
I wish I knew this earlier.
Not many people do.
Oh, going around. I don't know. I might have to come back to that. And like, can you? You just know me so well. You know a lot of my stories. Do you think I have any?
Third door moments for you?
Why don't I ask you first? Because I do think you've given this some thought.
Well, the ones that come up for me interviewing here on the podcast, the Bobby at Lou, like how does that happen? And then another musical artist who I met, who I just love, his Golden Messenger, meeting Mike, live at the show and hanging out with him for a little bit after a concert.
Yeah.
Like those to me are these third door moments of unconventionally connecting and then finding a way to get that meeting, have that conversation, meet that person. Those are the things that stand out for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure I have any top of mind, but this is definitely inspiration for me to start looking for them.
Look for the third door
I will
moments.
look for third door opportunities moving forward.
Well, that's the idea of these. So I'm not sure if you're going to read the book or if you're going to just search for more of those third door moments, but we wanted to.
If you're talking to me, I'm not going to read it, but if you're talking to people who are listening,
yeah,
they might.
Well,
they
you
still
might.
But
So again, key takeaways, the things that we loved in the book and that we now talk about are these ideas. Easy is a bad signal is the first one. Adventures happen to the adventurous is the second. And then find your mission and you'll find your people. This is a theme that's going to come up again in our next episode where we're talking about another favorite book. This one we talked a lot more about. It's The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday.
You've mentioned that? Yep.
3 times.
That's great.
Third time is the last time. So we'll be talking about that when we're back for our next episode.
Love it. Well, thank you. Thank you for reading. Thank you for doing the hard work. And thank you for sharing all of your notes and all of your highlights, because it's really helpful and very cool. I love the stories that were shared. I think Alex has a really cool arc to his story and how he got where he is. We'll link to all of his socials and things in the show notes.
Cool. Well, thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you or having you hear us in our next episode. Coming soon. Thanks.
Bye. All right, that's it for today. If you liked this episode, hit follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. And if you'd be willing to leave a rating or a review, we read every single one. It genuinely helps more people find the show and helps us keep doing what we're doing. And if you like what we're talking about here, you will probably love our 100% free bi-weekly newsletter called the Vienna 5. It's super practical, thoughtful. In every edition, we include a new blog that we write and go deeper into different ideas and things that we care about. You can find the link to that in the show notes. Music for this podcast is by Moby, who we still think is very cool. We're glad you're here. Thanks so much for listening.